I will introduce the light novel that needs a must-read. Hi. It's Takeshi here. This time, the noteworthy light novel released in August. As an introduction, it will be released in mid-August. I'm personally interested in the new slew of light novels. Let's pick up and introduce the works. This time, the main focus is on Fujimi Fantasia Bunko. Pretty strong in the hot pot catch from the web novel. There's also some new stuff from Gagaga Bunko, which has caught my attention. That being said, this is also a hot topic. So I'm personally interested. There are a lot of works that I have bought, so I will introduce them now. Firstly, is the new novel, My Apartment Has Become a Dungeon, so it's easy to capture with the strongest monsters, by Monokuro. This is the author's second works, after the 1997 series, Monokuramu no Zani I Zanyarumu no Kenshi under the name Shunpei Aso. That said, I do really like how well it came this far as a story, as it is an reverse isekai story. It tells a story of a landlord's apartment has turned into a dungeon, with a devil girl awakened in front of him. It's interesting to see where it goes, as it also contains some erotic yuri scenes, which shook the reading senses up. It seems even though it's an isekai story, there might have some romance in it, so keep an eye on the story. Seto Kaicho to no Makiaways wa Itsumo Hotel, English title. The meeting with the student council president is always at the hotel. Another immoral title and cover illustration. This work was the second works from the author Kazuma Nagatomo. After the one-shot, Youth Disqualified Man and Bittersweet Cat. The story of this work is that the main character is the student council president. The heroine is doing dad activities in Shibuya at night. After discovering her, she fell into a codependent relationship with her. It seems like it's going to be an angular story. I feel like it's going to be a coin, so on the official website, you're felt like an experienced person and I'm a person with zero experience. There was also a recommendation comment from Professor Mikiko Nagaoka, who was in charge of the story. It's called a story that seems to go anywhere but can't go anywhere, and it's a bit bitter. I wonder if there's any love elements in this story. Those who want to be swayed by troublesome heroines should check out this series. Detenshi Seti no VK Vu Okurisudo, Shoken Sereta Isekai de Kyusishu to Neru First Kurokitsubasa no Jokayaku, English title, Fallen Angel VK Vocalist, summoned to become a savior in another world. First Black Tsubasa Overture, by Akaishi Hajime. The story is interestingly colorful different world fantasy coming. It's the first time I've seen this setting because the VK vocalist is the main character. Maybe the story is just like the title says in the real world. The main character, the leader of a hugely popular visual K band. It starts with being summoned to another world. The mouthpiece illustration has a lot of impact and it's interesting. It's a visual K band with a fallen angel motif. When you're summoned to another world, you end up with the power of a fallen angel. It seems like it's going to be an interesting development. That in addition, the main character's singing voice makes the people of the other world happy, and it seems that he is unrivaled not only in battle but also in singing. In the synopsis, it is written as a fulminant fantasy that penetrates diagonally above the imagination. It's quite a mystery what kind of story it will turn out to be, but how is it for everyone? Try reading it for a while. I'm going to check out what is it like. Next is, Cho Tanti Jikenbo Reinkodo Orisama-chan wa o Yomsan. English title, Super Detective Case Files Raincode Orisama is Your Bride. This new story, adapted from the popular game from Spike Chunsoft, with the game was from the same team that make the franchise Danganronpa. The story was ratherly same from game, as Yuma Kokohead, an apprentice detective with amnesia, wakes up with a Shinigami beside him. This game was released on June 30th just this year, with its sales boomed during its first week of release in Japan, with 55,339 copies being physical. It seems as people would say, if you sell a game well, you could make a novel adaptation. Guess what, it really did. If would, I would try the game first then read the novel of it because it just was so detailed written. Gamers of Nintendo should try to read the novel as well. Up next, is the ongoing novel, Ortu Amato no Chi, Tsunagatama Sendeshita, English title, My Sister and I Are Not Blood Related. This is a family romantic comedy series that started this year. T's a romantic comedy with a younger sister, but the boy has a bit of a personality. As the sister are growing up as her biological brother, but she wasn't actually related by blood. It turns out that even, the younger sister is an extreme brother, so the main character keeps it a secret. The boy tries to keep her distance from her sister. But her sister is always pushing her away without regard to her distance. What happens when she finds out the secret is not the key point of this work. And by the way, the sister is... well, she's restraining herself on the last line. So, it's the Brocon of Brocon. As it progresses. The latest story has now is a summer vacation episode, so expect some swimsuit scenes. There's something else, too. And that is slapstick comedy. It's a work that depicts the bond well, so I'm not worried about what the final landing point will be. If you like sister-type heroines, check out this work. Kujo Denka no Katikiyoshi Volume 15, The Ice Dragon of Heroic Slayers. This is the latest issue of the Fantasy Love series. It is a story in which the students of this designated fantasy work, who starred as a tutor, confront various incidents and conflicts between conspiratorial nations. A series with the fun of Royal Road fantasy. The growth of the heroines and the hot action of the main character are also battle-like. It is a work that I would like to highly recommend even for beginners of fantasy light novels because it will be exciting. Personally, I've been saying forever that I want it to be made into an anime, but it hasn't been announced for quite some time. You'll be able to create a combination technique. Personally, I don't really like this kind of battle style. There are quite a lot of functions. But it's a series where you can fully enjoy the fun of fantasy, so if you haven't read it yet, why don't you take this opportunity to start reading? With the works from Fujimi Fantasia Bunko concluded, we now look forward to the works from Gagaga Bunko. Firstly, is the Volume 2 of Care to Kanojo no Jijio Senryaku, English title, His and Her Business Plan. This series has been a hot topic since its release. Since it will be released in the month, 2 crowns will be released at a fairly high pace. Young businessmen will clash over the large sum of 10 trillion yen. The business brain battle is interesting. The main character of this work is a genius consultant who is a go-getter and has become a talented character who is respected by those around him. However, he doesn't know anything about business. But he forms a buddy with a heroine who seems to be a person, and a business battle begins. The flow of Volume 1 was to take on the challenge of the business. I really enjoyed the freshness of the cut, but to be honest, the first volume was the opponent who fought like this in the preliminary round. He was quite a petty character, so he was a little lacking in his battle-like aspects. So, regarding the second volume to be released this time, it will finally enter the main topic because it will be a battle with Japan's top-level businessmen. I personally think it's a pretty good feeling, with a character that passed the qualifying round in first place and is called an emperor in the economic world. And a light novel-like Gereminal setting. It will be interesting to see how the battle of best business will grow out. If you haven't read it yet, why not check out Volume 2 released this 18th? Live in a Bathtub. This is a new work directed by Shiki Taiga-sensei, the author of I Want to Be Your Tears, Watashi wa Anata no Namaida and I Naratai, which designed the topic last year's Kanorano 2023. This series also has an interesting atmosphere. It tells a story of a 22-year-old girl. Unable to endure the power harassment of his boss in her job, she returned to her parents' house, gets sick and eventually living her life in a bathtub. It is indeed a strange story, with a strange twist to it. The artist's imagination is really amazing, isn't it? If you just look at the synopsis, it's a story depicting the rebirth of a woman who became a NEET. I don't know what to say, but judging from the impressions of Gagaga Bunko writers who read this work first, the first half is heartwarming. And from the second half the weight of the story increases. It seems that it is finished in a work worth reading. So, even though it's a story that depicts family relationships, I'm speechless on it. There seems to be a VTuber element, so I'm curious about what will happen around that. By the way, the author of The Tunnel to Summer, The Exit of Goodbyes, Mei Hachimoku has spoken about the work on Twitter, stating that Taiga-sensei should be better to aim for a bookstore grand prize in general literature. In some way, I do really agree with what he said. It's a matter of course. I don't know what's going on with the story that makes people in the same industry say such things. I'm hoping to get that book soon. Sayonara, Watashitachi ni Yasashikunakata, Sabit no Hidebito, English sh title, Goodbye to all who were unkind to us. This new work also has a great aura, isn't it? On the editor's Twitter, the interaction with Kane-sensei is up. Are you really going to publish this book from the proofreader? I'm even asking if it's ethically okay. What kind of content is it? By the way, the design of this book looks like this. The black and red design. It's crazy, isn't it? I was putting it out. But it's been a long time since I've had a strong one. By the way, the method of revenge is that the girl who got the power of the top of her by having a giant snake god possess herself will use that power to take her revenge. It has a cult-like atmosphere. No. This is good that I love this kind of dark atmosphere. The heroine's life is in danger at the price of using her power. I'm personally excited about this sharp work, so I'm planning to buy it too. From GC Novel, is the ongoing story, Classmate no Moto Eidaru Ga, Tonikaku Kyoto Fushin non Disu, Volume 3. This is still an idol plus school life story. In the second volume, the pacing slowed down a bit as we're having summer vacation scenes, which was worth rewarding. In Volume 3, it moved to the idol was working as maid cafe, or so it seems. Having with the classmates came over, making her embarrassing. But what rewarding this time is that, the kiss scene that makes it booming. Now, that is getting peak. In all contrast, Volume 3 this time was the ultimate build-up that this story needs. Kissing an idol you love. Rewarding, was it not? Guys who loves idol stories should take this a look. And finally, from HJ Novels, is the new story Akuyaku Reijo ni Tensei Shita Inaka Muzum Ga Badoendo Kaihi ni Idomu Hanashir Volume 1, English title. A story about a country girl reincarnated as a villain's daughter trying to avoid a bad ending. This seems to be a shoujo isekai story. Unexpectedly. The main purpose of this story is about isekai, where a girl living in the countryside who was attacked by a monster and died abruptly and came back to another life as an aristocrat. It seems aristocrat does have a major in the light novel genre, isn't it? I do also feel like there's more boys than girls in this story, so I would assume it's more than just a shoujo story. I wonder if they have love elements as well, seeing that the dance-along wasn't much satisfying. Shoujo readers should look forward to this one, because this will bang hard. This time we picked up a noteworthy light novel. There were quite a few new series, but they were all addictive or rather problematic. It was fun with the feeling that it was okay. I do need to reconsider which I'm going to pick up for. I wonder if everyone was interested. Please tell me more what you're looking forward about the releases in the comments. So far in this video, I will continue to introduce the new book next week, so as the meaning of supporting the channel, please click the subscribe button. I would be happy if you could click the like button or watch another video. Until then, this has been Takashi and I'll see you soon, goodbye.